Hello everyone, Yes Atla here from University of Clemson, and today we're presenting the COVID-19 impact, what we know and still don't. After 2 years, we are still living in a constant worldwide pandemic because of the novel coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 or its lethal disease COVID-19 that affects every individual and every age of our society. Until now, we do not have a definitive antiviral, but a variety of available and effective vaccines. But yet, too much unanswered questions. And because of these questions, we decided to make a survey on Google Forms platform. So this survey was launched on social media in the summer of 2021. It was open to everyone. It had many questions about and many parts about knowledge about the virus, how to prevent it, do people really accept vaccines, and was there any social impact on our lives? So yes, we had 516 participants. There was more females than males, which backs up large studies that say that females tend to respond more than males in these surveys, whether online or on paper. And we have different age groups that participated, mainly the age group from 23 and 30 to 40, because it's obvious those are the age groups that use a lot of social media like Facebook, Twitter, etc. For the knowledge part, we asked question if people believe in COVID-19, and hopefully almost all of them said yes, they do believe in the virus, they do believe in its disease, with small percentages having doubts. And from these people that do acknowledge the virus and its disease, we want to know if they know how this virus is transmitted, and hopefully, again, a lot of them chose orally or via aerosols and through services, but a lot of them neglected through feces, which is an important route of transmission. Others chose sexually, which is wrong for coronaviruses, which are respiratory viruses. Moving on to the prevention part, we wanted to know if these respondents did follow the preventive measures, and almost 80% for them said yes. They wore masks, they used the hydroalcoholic gel, and they kept distances, which is the distancing. But we wanted to know from these 80 if they did maintain following these preventive measures, and almost 45% said yes, they followed them through the whole pandemic. 38 said they did follow them sometimes, but 11% of them said they no longer follow them at all because people change and seasons change and even people get bored. Moving on to the vaccination part, we wanted to know if these participants did get a COVID-19 vaccine, and 40% of them said yes, they did get a vaccine, 60% did not. And the later question was for these 60% of them, if they want to get a vaccine later on, 30% said yes, they will get a vaccine eventually, 32% said not at the right moment, not at the moment, maybe a later size, but 36% of them, almost 37, they completely refuse a COVID-19 vaccines due to misinformation and conspiracy theories, especially that we find on social media. For the social impact, at the end of our survey, we asked question if these respondents did have any impact, this pandemic did have any impact on their lives, and 72% of them said yes, it did have an impact. The others said it didn't. So from these 72%, a lot of them said they either lost a loved one, they no longer visit family members like they used to. Uh, uh, a lot of negative ideas. A lot of people had depression, anxiety because of the confinement and where schools were closed, airports, and all. And others said that we became obsessed with cleaning using the hydroalcoholic gel and cleaning purchases and items, which is very stressful, a stressful period on our lives, definitely. Yeah. But the WHO reported that bigger social impacts. There was like 1.6 billion students out of school throughout this pandemic, and they predicted that by 2030, more than 351 million people could be pushed into poverty because a lot of people lost their jobs, they become depressed and quit their jobs. There were a lot of problems, but from other positive side, there was a reduction of waste, a reduction of carbon emissions, and of course the return of the wildlife. A lot of people did get severe symptoms. Others got moderate ones or less severe ones. Others were asymptomatic. But what the post-COVID is still, we don't know what's the post-COVID or the long COVID as they call it. So lately, a lot of people have had hair loss, fatigue, dizziness, and brain fog. Others completely lost their ability to smell or taste uh, from the frequent symptoms. There were other rare symptoms like some people they get type 2 diabetes, others had scarring in lungs, and we still don't know yet exactly what long COVID is, and we all should be scared of it. And to conclude, we say that throughout this pandemic, there were many mysteries, many enigmas surrounding this pandemic and its novel coronaviruses. Till now, we have more than 6 million deaths and more than 500 billion cases worldwide, and is still rising and rising until we find a definitive eradicative treatment. But for now, we all have to vaccinate, mask up, and stay safe. And that's it. And thank you for your attention.